Athletics. I'd like to welcome everyone to our winter senior athlete recognition. We are delighted to have each of you with us today. Whether you're here with us in the parking lot, in the commons, or watching on the live stream, welcome and thank you for being here to join us in recognizing and celebrating these 29 committed senior athletes. If you're on campus and would like to listen through your radio, you can tune to FM 107.1. This winter had many challenges, but we enjoyed getting these athletes some competition, whether that was virtual in the pool, intramural in the squash center, or interscholastic for the basketball teams. Thank you to this group of seniors for leading your teams with courage and grace during the winter season. Note for the families here on campus, when your child's team is being acknowledged, you may come out of your cars towards the front. Please remember to stay 6 feet away from others and have your masks on. After we conclude the event, senior athletes may join you at your car where you can take pictures. The first two people I'd like to recognize are athletics committee co-presidents who will lead us through the rest of the event. Please join me in welcoming Mackenzie Medina and TJ McCabe.
Before we begin, TJ and I would like to thank you all for being here. Whether watching this through a screen or sitting right in front of me, it's because of you that this event could be possible. This year has been very challenging, but even under the circumstances, the Shipley community does not fail to look after their students at all times. Our coach and trainers have done an amazing job of keeping practices productive and fun and being flexible as we move through the stages. As the athletic head, I am beyond grateful for the maximum effort that Shipley has put in to continue our sports programs after the last couple of months. We really appreciate it.
We would also like to thank Mr. Turner and the administration for the consistent effort to keep us at school and allowing the athletes to compete this season. Thank you, Kim and Kaylee, the athletic trainers, as well as Ms. Showerman for keeping us healthy through the winter season. Additionally, thank you to Mr. Plow and the entire tech department for making it possible to have athletics join virtually. As we transition into honoring the athletes, I would like to thank Ms. Taylor for planning this event and the never-ending load of work to make our senior year special.
First, we will recognize the boys squash seniors coached by Chris Langhorn and Avery Safford.
Hello, I'm Chris Langthorne, the boys squash coach. We've got 7 seniors that we'd like to celebrate today. Let's start off with Jack Cooney. Good job, Jack. Jack has been a part of the JV squash team for the past 4 years. Starting his upper school squash career, having never played before, Jack crafted his skill and developed a game around his fun and creative personality. Over the seasons, Jack has strengthened the team and given his warm, high energy and humorous personality to each training session, making his presence in every practice valued and appreciated. Thanks, Jack. Next, we have Oliver Walcott. Oliver has been a keen squash player during his 4 years competing in the upper school squash program. He played a pivotal role in the JV team during his sophomore year and brought his knowledge of the game to all new players, showing his enthusiasm and dedication to the sport in training and matches. A great team player who always gave more than he was ever asked, and a great presence at every training session that will be missed. Next, we have Max. Although anyone who knows Max, he'll tell them that he's a soccer player, and I think his future may have some squash in it now. Max picked up a squash racket for the first time only 10 weeks ago. And would you have thought it that he'd been playing since a young age? His athletic ability, determination to learn, and energetic personality helped him develop a strong squash game. And although he never got to compete this year, Max's squash career did conclude in one epic battle with his sister, Lenny, who plays on the girls' JV team. Well done, Max, on learning a new sport so quickly. We hope you continue to grow and learn in the game of squash for years to come. Good job, buddy. Next, we have Bailey Richardson. Bailey's been a strong personality and leader in the JV squash team for the past few seasons. Starting his squash career as a freshman, Bailey learned and executed a high level of tactics and skills. His athletic nature and leadership has helped push the rest of the JV team to aspire for more and reach their potential. His fun-loving and hard-working attitude helped inspire the rest of the JV team, and his leadership at last year's national championships saw the team do incredibly well and get a top 10 finish in their division. Next, we've got Gabe Malibuya. Gabe has been one of our Shipley squash's success stories. He only picked up a racket as a freshman and came from an enthusiastic beginner to having a solid JV experience in his sophomore year, which then concluded with being a solid member of the varsity team. In his junior season, Gabe represented Shipley at the high school national championships. He played the match of his life in the team's final playoff game and showed great passion, speed, energy around the court. His bubbly and bright personality has been part of the Squash Center for the past 4 years, and he's made every session fun, full of humor and high energy, and will be sorely missed. Good job, Gabe. Next, we've got Sam Knoll. Sam joins Shipley and the squash team in his sophomore year and fit right into the squash community route. Sam worked hard at developing his game throughout the last 3 years, earning himself a high place in the JV team in his first year, which saw him go 8 of 8 in that season. After lots of hard work, Sam moved up the rankings into the varsity team and traveled to Connecticut last season to play part of the varsity team in the high school national championships. Sam has displayed a great work ethic and passion for the sport over the past 3 seasons, and we wish him all the best of luck at Rochester. Good job, Sam. And lastly, we've got Grant Williams. Grant has had a fantastic journey from the middle school squash all the way through to being nominated as this year's captain. Although the title was only given to him for 1 season, Grant has been a natural leader and a consistent presence in the varsity team for the past 4 years. Grant has played over 41 matches, and the highlight of his high school squash career was beating a much higher ranked player at the 2020 High School National Championships, Alden Lamp, which set the tone for the rest of the team in last year's tournament. Although this season has seen little competition, Grant has led not just the varsity players, but the whole squash team. Fighting an injury, Grant has turned up and represented in every training session, leading warm-ups, planning and organizing workouts, and most importantly, being himself and letting his positive and fun personality shine across the rest of the squash players. Thank you, Grant, for being a pleasure to coach and giving so much and asking for very little back. You'll be truly missed in the Squash Center, but you leave behind a strong legacy of creativity, hard work, and respect. Good luck at Duke. Well done, buddy. The 2021 squash season was one like no other. Although we didn't play any other schools, all of the seniors had a big impact on the squash team and their fellow teammates. All 7 seniors used their final squash season to lead, motivate, and inspire the rest of the cohort of athletes. Practice ranged from skill challenges, fitness testing, and modified games, which concluded with some internal competitive matches. These seniors leave behind a legacy of hard work, discipline, creativity, both on and off the squash court, and a promising future for Shipley squash. Thanks, boys.
Next, we will recognize the girls squash seniors coached by Jenny Haley and Kellen Vengel.
Hello there. Oops. My name's Jenny Haley, and I'm the coach of the girls squash team, along with Kellen Bengals. Thanks for joining us all today. First up, we're going to be recognizing Grace Gow. Grace joined the team last year and took to squash like a duck to water. Her tennis skills translated perfectly over to the squash court, and her ability to hunt down the volley was a real asset to her game. We're really going to miss her energy and enthusiasm for both the game and her team, and we wish her the best of luck in the next chapter. Good luck, Grace. We'll miss you. Next up is Georgia, who is unable to be here today, but we hope she's watching online. Georgia's enthusiasm and energy for the game will be sorely missed on the Shipley squash team. Throughout the years, she's been a teammate to rely on, brightening up everyone's days with her positivity. Although we've had a short season this year with no matches, Georgia was still a fantastic support for the rest of her team, and her warmth and kindness made everyone feel at ease, especially our freshmen this year. The team and us coaches will miss you, Georgia. Next up, we have Susanna Ulrich. Susanna was this year's co-captain along with Georgia, and Susanna's been an absolute joy to work with over the past 2 years. Her calm persona and quiet confidence have taken her far on the court and will no doubt continue to take her far in life. On the court, Susanna has a great talent of making her matches go down to the wire and winning many matches 12-10 in the 5th game. Despite all the stress that she causes her coaches, her teammates, and no doubt her parents, we'll really miss her on the court. We'll miss you next year, Georgia, but good luck. And thankfully, we still have another Ulrich left on campus. Over the past 2 years, I've had the pleasure of working with this girls' squash team. Although we've had a short season this year with no matches and only 4 weeks of court time, the girls took the challenge of learning new skills head on. This year, I couldn't have worked with a better group of girls. Coach Callan and I were so excited to watch our 3 seniors, Susanna, Georgia, and Grace, transition into their roles as seniors and leaders of the team. Even with no competitive matches against other schools, the girls demonstrated strong leadership skills and helped their team get the most out of each practice. We've genuinely had the best time working with these girls on court and getting to know them individually off court, and we'll miss them a lot. Good luck in the next chapter, girls. Thank you.
Next, we will represent the swimming seniors, coached by Karen Culbertson, Neil McDonald, and Paul Hermans.
Is either one of these? Okay. First, I'd like to thank the head of school, Mr. Michael Turner, and the athletic staff, and in particular, Caitlin Taylor, who has fielded more emails, texts, phone calls from me than any athletic department director deserves. Thank you, Caitlin. I'd also like to thank my assistant coaches, Neil McDonald and Paul Hermans, for their valuable help and insight during this very fast season. Both the boys and girls swimming were 3-3 this season, as they were last year. On to my swimmers. My first swimmer, Lily Gordon, can't make it today, but I do want to talk about her. It was her first year as a swimmer. Lily took on the distance freestyle races for her first 2 meets and did an amazing job. In our final meet, Lily swam her season best 50 free, breaking her 30-second barrier, and became the fastest sprinter of the season. Lily cheered on the other swimmers and was a positive influence at practice and in meets. Although she has a scholarship in lacrosse, the coaches and I hope that they will be swimming in her future. Our next swimmer is Emma Strawbridge. Come on up, Emma. She is also a first-year swimmer. Emma has been a conscientious and hardworking swimmer, always at practice and making the most of her swim season. Each meet, she dropped time, usually as much as 6 seconds per 50 free, and in her final meet, a jaw-dropping 18 seconds plus in her 100 freestyle. We're so happy to have you as part of our team this year. Please keep swimming. Thank you, Emma. Our next swimmer, also a first year, is Celeste Fenare Muse. Come on up, Em. Celeste, first-year swimmer. Celeste was a surprise. I asked her before the first meet if she could swim a 100-yard breaststroke, and she said, I think so. She ended up being our fastest breaststroke swimmer in that specific meet, so well done. She ended up also dropping 7 seconds over the season in her 50-yard freestyle from the beginning to the end of the season. And although she'll be rowing in college, she did say that she'll keep swimming in college as well. So we're happy that you were part of our team, and thank you for being with us. Finally catching my breath. John Parsons, come on up. Senior swimmer manager. Last year, I'm going to break the wind there. Last year, he was got an injury early in the season and ended up being a manager and fabulous at that. This year, he was able to complete the entire swim season and was a key point scorer this year. John covered every freestyle race there was, and including the 500, which is our equivalent of a marathon. He swam his career best in 100 free in the final meet by half a second, and also his 200 free by half a second. John will be swimming this summer, and I know you'll only get faster from here. Well done. Thanks, John. Casey Goss, co-captain, leader who helped facilitate our Microsoft Teams virtual workouts in December and early January. She helped bring in new swimmers this year and is one of the most versatile swimmers I have. In one of our final meets, she swam the 500, completing, I've swum every event possible in the Friends School League. Well done, Casey. For a final meet, Casey swam her career best 100 fly time by a second and a half, not quite a minute, a second and a half. And I know softball will be what you focus on in college, but I hope swimming will be part of your college life as well. Thanks, Casey. Dixie Lissack, co-captain, my top 200 IM and fly swimmer. Those two events are our most technical events, and I usually will ask a swimmer to swim those, and they're like, oh, please no. But every time I ask Dixie to swim them, she's like, sure, whatever, coach, I gotcha. So I was very appreciative to have her and the points that she was able to garner by being the swimmer in those events. She was also in her final meet inside the 200 medley relay where she swam 50 fly. She got her fastest split of her career at Shipley at 37.60. And I know rowing will be a part of your college experience, but I hope swimming will be as well. Thanks, Dixie. Megan Murphy, come on up, Meg. Meg is also co-captain and our top distance swimmer. She is our queen of the 500, which is basically, again, our marathon. Every single meet, she swam that 500 probably for the last 3 years. Do you think, Meg? Something like that. And it made a difference in meets, sometimes from a loss to a win, and that was because of the 500. Another swimmer who just fell short of almost swimming every single FSL event, except by one. Also very versatile, a very dedicated swimmer, and always works hard at every practice. I hope you'll be able to add swimming to your college plans as well. Thank you, Meg. Ted Ryan, co-captain. Ted is a quiet leader and a swimmer who, when we first saw him starting at Shipley as a freshman, the coaches and I saw a lot of potential. I mean, look at this guy, he is built for swimming. By his junior year, he started to fulfill the very potential we saw. It was exciting to watch him at Friends School League champs and Easterns every year of his high school career. And in those meets, he got his best times in 100 free of 57.15, 6:02 in the 500 free, and 25.65 and 50 free. This year, without the full season, he was still able to hit a lifetime best in his 100 fly, swimming a 104.41, which will be submitted to the virtual Easterns event. I hope that you continue to swim in college and as a club swimmer or something in cross-training. Thanks, Ted. Sebastian Bell, my final swimmer. We had 9 seniors this year. And of the last swimmers that I've talked about, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, from Casey, Dixie, Megan, Ted, and Seb, I worked with them for the last 4 years. So it's been my privilege to be with them. Seb, on the wrong line. Seb's co-captain and his leader, and makes my life as a coach easier with his versatility as a swimmer. And he's always quick to remind me, like in our first virtual meet when I was about to have a meltdown, Coach Karen, it's okay. Appreciate you, Seb. Thank you. He has swum every possible event that is possible in the FSL league, and he's received much needed points for the team. He was able to specialize in 200 IM and 100 back, getting season best times in both on our final meet, which will be submitted to Easterns. He too has swum at Friends School League champs and Easterns all of his high school career. And I can't say enough about good things about this team and what they've meant to me as a coach. I got to switch pages here. It's been a year full of Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, snowstorm, Plan D, Plan E. And these swimmers have been nothing short of stellar in making all of those changes work. They're a great group of swimmers and people, and I feel happy to have been part of their swimming life. And as I step down from head coach to assistant for next year because of graduate school, I'm thrilled to know that the team I leave to the next head coach is made better by all of these 9 seniors you see here. Thank you.
Next, we will recognize our only track senior, coached by Antonio Davis and Brad Jewell.
Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is having healthy and happy during our crazy COVID year. Thank you to everyone watching virtually and those parents who have joined us in the parking lot today. My name is Bradley Jewell, and I am the assistant coach for Shipley's indoor track team with head coach Antonio Davis. In our second year of winter track, we had quite a few obstacles, as did all sports, in this COVID year. A special thank you to Caitlin Taylor, Mr. Turner, our COVID angels, and all of the staff and Shipley community who allowed us to have a season. Our season was a season of both physical and mental training. Our 6-week season included indoor, outdoor, and virtual practices. While competitions were sparse, we did still have the state's #1 triple jumper in Sabrina Imes. This year, we focused on developing our skills and concentrated on improving our technique out in the freezing cold. When we found indoor space, we spent practices watching and learning from top Olympic athletes in between our speed training. When there was snow on the turf, we sprinted up the hill of the parking garage. When there wasn't a location for us, we held virtual workout sessions to hone in our craft. Whether we were outside in the freezing cold and wind, like we are today, inside at the lower school with limited space, or holding practices in the parking garage, our team came ready to train, ready to perform, and ready to improve. I thank each one of our athletes for showing up each day, ready to dominate regardless of the scenarios in front of them. Unfortunately, our senior could not be with us today, but at the forefront of our positivity and commitment was Zach Friels. Each and every day, we could count on Zach to show up with a great attitude, eager to learn, eager to work hard, and eager to teach and lead his younger classmates. The effort and attitude that he brought every day will hopefully create a ripple effect down to the next Shipley track stars. Coach Antonio and I thank you, Zach, and wish you the best of luck at your next endeavors. You'll be missed. I look forward to the future of this young program, and I'm excited to see us continue to grow. Thank you, everyone, for your time, and go Gators.
Next, we will recognize the boys basketball seniors coached by Phil D'Ambrosio and Jim Kerr.
Good afternoon. How you doing? Thank you for being here, whether in person or virtually. It's a chilly day, we know. Try to make this fast, okay? Each of the seniors in this year's 2021 class served as a leader in their own capacity as they helped the team navigate a certainly unique season. A wonderful group of young men who have been a pleasure to coach over the past few years. While their senior season was cut short, they managed to help lead us to a winning record. And although I'm sad to see our time together come to an end, I'm really looking forward to the next phase of your lives, fellas. Andrew Mccreadies, Andrew couldn't be here today. He's actually visiting Penn State at the moment. So Andrew has been not only a nice addition to the boys basketball program, but also to the Shipley community over the past 2 years. He started all 32 games at Shipley and has served as a captain his senior season. Andrew finished his final game as a Gator with 13 points and 9 rebounds in a win versus Germantown Friends School last weekend. He is a pass-first player who is respectful to all and adapted well during his short time here. Andrew, who is still deciding where he will be going to college, will be greatly missed. Best of luck, Drew. Keon Dumont. Keon, a 2-year varsity player, has developed nicely during his time as a member of the boys basketball program. He is a good teammate who I really enjoyed seeing get some on-court action to close out his senior season. Keon was a fan favorite who we will miss. Best of luck in your next chapter, Keon. Ryan Kai. Ryan was a great member of the boys varsity basketball program over the past 2 seasons, serving last year as our manager and this year as a player. He is a hard worker who brought good energy to each competition this year. We will miss you next year, Ryan, but know you will be successful in whatever you do. And our final senior, Tommy D. Tommy was a 2-year varsity member and elected captain for his senior year. Tommy is the consummate student athlete and a teammate you would want to play with. Insightful, funny, and strong competitor, there is no doubt Tommy will achieve great success in his next endeavors at Boston College. Thank you, seniors, for all the memories and your dedication to the program over the years. I look forward to learning more of your story. Be safe and explore.
Finally, we will recognize the girls' basketball seniors coached by Sean Costello, Liz Denby, and Alex Bradley.
I first want to thank Coach Liz and Alex for all their help this year. The first student athlete I'm going to be talking about is Abby Augie. You're going to hear some similar things about a bunch of the student athletes this year because I've coached them in multiple seasons. Abby's improved an incredible deal as an athlete, but more importantly as a leader in her 4 years at Shipley. It has been an honor to be fortunate enough to work with her on that journey. She's an absolute stalwart in that for our soccer team, but I would argue her role on the basketball team has been equally as important. She is someone I can always lean on for advice and guidance for the pulse of the team. She is forever helping her teammates and not afraid to kick them in the butt sometimes. I know last year she really stepped up in the locker room after some tough losses. I'm going to miss her leadership and mentorship towards her teammates the most. Thank you for your service, Abby. The next student athlete is Kaia Bailly, who unfortunately can't join us today. I've had such an incredibly fun time working with Kaia in soccer and basketball. Much like a few of her teammates, basketball was not her first sport, but you would never know based off the level of energy, competitiveness, and selflessness that she distributed. The best way to describe Kaia's basketball game is by comparing her hair that she would always have down go wild during the basketball games. She was always all over the place. She competed for every rebound, jump passing lanes with ferocity. When we got Kaia back this season, our entire team's energy was lifted. I know she would have been an integral part to a great season. I'll miss her competitiveness and easygoing nature off the court the most. Thanks, Kai. Next is Katie Bergen. What can I say about Bergen? I'm forever jealous of her final senior game story. She'll have to tell her grandchildren for many years to come. A true Dennis Rodman performance as she rode off into the sunset. Seriously, though, I've literally taught Katie, I think, since kindergarten. What an amazing person and athlete. She competes with incredible tenacity and cares about her teammates with that same tenacity. She is always the first to try to pick up a teammate who's down, and I've been incredibly impressed with the way in which she takes my coaching. She's had a significant impact on the athletic program here at Shipley, and she will be forever etched in my memory as Bergen. We will miss you terribly next year, Katie. Thank you. Next up is Olivia Joseph. Olivia was Olivia for most of her educational career to me. I also taught her in elementary school. That was until she showed how much of a baller she was during her sophomore, junior year. She then became OJ or Juice. It has been very rare in my coaching tenure that someone improves as great a deal as Juice has. She went from strictly a JV player to a varsity starter and impact player. This is in large part to her determination and hard work during the offseason. OJ would have been in the conversation for all-league player this season during her senior campaign and was vital to any success we've had in the past 2 years. I hope she finds a home on a college team next year because I don't think she's even scratched the surface of her potential. I'm sorry to not have the chance to see what your senior year looked like this year, but thanks for everything you've done, and honestly, you've improved such an incredible deal. Thank you. Sanaya Redman. Nah, what a blast it's been getting to know you as a person and player. To think you were in 4th grade coming to workouts with socks and now look, headed off to play basketball at Samford University. There are no words to describe how proud I am of what you have accomplished here. Your statistics alone are enough to warrant that praise, but when you look at the everlasting social impact you've had in our community, there just aren't words. Even as I wrote this, I found myself channeling my inner Tom Showerman and saying, like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry. But instead of making this speech about like your career points, and which I think we all know you certainly would have became the all-time leading scorer had we had a normal season. Sorry, my papers are getting blown off here. I asked Na to be a member of an admissions group last year, just around when the pandemic started. And she was really reluctant and didn't feel comfortable public speaking. And just a few short months later, she was leading a Black Lives Matter march down Lancaster Avenue with some of her peers. This type of growth is why I love to do what I do and why I want to continue doing it. Now you're going to be a star at whatever you choose to do. I'll forever be there cheering you on and confident in your performance. Thank you. This group of seniors have seen it all: state championships, league championships, early round exits, blowing teams out, getting blown out, pandemics, social movements, virtual school, you name it, they've been through it. They're easily the most resilient group of kids I've ever encountered. The way in which they continue to stay engaged and positive through such difficult times is nothing short of astonishing. I know what I was like as a high school student, and that wasn't it. I'm forever grateful for their time at Shipley Athletics and hope they've gained as much from me as I have from them. Thanks, guys.
On behalf of not only the athletics department, but the school as a whole, we would like to thank you once again for coming. Now I will turn it over to Mr. Turner.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Thank you, TJ. As always, begin and end with gratitude. There are almost too many people to thank, but Ms. Taylor and your staff, Mr. Walsh, the entire physical plant team, the athletic trainers, Ms. Mannix and her communication team, all the people who've put together today's event. Thank you so much. To the parents for joining us in person and online, and of course for our student athletes. Well, this winter season, the good news is the same as the bad news. I think I can say in all certainty, speaking to the athletes and to the parents and coaches, you will never have another season like this. And of course, the obvious part of that is the good news is you will never have a season like this again. But why the heck would that be bad news? The bad news there is that athletics has a lot to teach us. It has a lot to show us and reveal us about who we are and the people around us, the lessons that we can learn, and the people we want to spend our time with. And this season, perhaps more than any other, has offered those opportunities. It's offered the opportunities for some of the athletes you just saw in front of you to try a new sport for the first time. It's offered opportunities to gain insights on what it's like to lose a season for superior athletes. As you go on in your careers, whether you have another season this spring in college or never play another sport organized again, you now have perspective of what it is to lose something you care about, to suffer injury and lose that season, to try and to fail, to do all the things right and still not be able to reach your goal. That's one of the toughest lessons that one can learn in life, and it's one that athletics teaches perhaps better than any other format. You learned that lesson this year. We all learned that lesson, but it's not just that you learned, I hope, in working with the people that you worked with this year. I hope that you learned that when those things come, the things that you can't predict, the things you can't control, the things that aren't your fault, even though you did everything right, and even though you demonstrate the resilience, creativity, fortitude, courage, and grace that you did this year, even when you do all that right and bad things still happen, what matters is the people you do it with. What matters is how you conduct yourself. What matters is who you are. And sports reveal that, again, perhaps better than any other setting. And so, again, I'd say the good news is the bad news. You will never have another season like this. But what you revealed to your teammates, to your families, to your classmates, to your coaches, and perhaps most importantly to yourself, is who you are when things are difficult. You can carry that with you for the rest of your life, into next season, next school year, at your colleges, and I really hope, for the rest of your lives. That's a season well spent. And so again, after opening with gratitude, I'll close with gratitude and ask you to do the same, which is to thank the people who made this possible. There's an unending list, beginning with your families who made it possible for you to be here at Shipley, your coaches who worked tirelessly through those plan A, B, C, D, E, F, and G that Coach Culberson talked about, right? Coach D'Ambrosio is waiting for his phone to ring to have a new baby, but he's here. Right? It goes on and on and on, the people who care for you and want to support you. Thank them, love them, use this experience to build those relationships and improve them. So I'll close with one final note of gratitude to all those who are here today and who've made our athletics program possible. If we can survive this season, if we can grow out of this season, then the future of athletics at Shipley are bright, and these seniors helped make it so. Again, thank you everybody for being part of our celebration today. Go Gators.